So what is HTML? HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. It is not a programming language, but it is a markup language. It is used to structure web pages. It's used to create web pages online. And we can create some pages on our local environment in our computer in this case. Now, how does it look like? Well, HTML looks like this. We first start by typing in a left angle bracket, then a character, then enclosing that character with another bracket. In this case, it's going to be a right angle bracket. Then we have created a HTML tag. The next thing is to enclose something in this HTML tag. In this case, we're going to be enclosing a text. This text now is going to be enclosed in this HTML tag. Now, before we are done with it, we need to actually close this HTML tag. All right, and the closing tag looks very similar to that opening tag in the beginning there. This is the closing tag right here. The only difference is that it has a forward slash, as you can see right here. So this will be called a closing tag. All right, so now this text was unformatted before we did anything to it, and now it's formatted. Now we have a whole bunch of different tags, and basically we do the same thing we're doing with the first one. We enclose whatever we want in between those tags. Now the next one here is another piece of text that's enclosed in a H1 tag. Now this H1 is going to make this text a lot bigger. It's going to make it a heading. So it's going to be bold and it's going to be way bigger than that. Now we can always override those styles, and those are called default styles by the browser. All right. Now, not all HTML tags are going to have a closing partner. In this case, the HR, which stands for horizontal rule, does not have a closing tag. All right, and there are many of them that don't have a closing tag, but I'm going to show you which one do and which one don't. All right, so let me just give you a little list here of some HTML tags just to give you an idea. All right, the strong tag makes things bolder, um, thicker text. The audio, you can put audio in your website. The form, you can put form elements for contact forms. The I there that you see makes things italic. All right, so the H1 is a heading tag. So I mean, there are many and many of them. I just wanted to give you a little list so that way you can be aware of some of them. Now, how does it really work? Well, we put a bunch of HTML tags in a text file. All right, and as you can see right here, this is a whole bunch of them, and I bolded the paragraph there because that's the only one that we will be able to see in the browser. Anything in between that body tag, which is right above that P tag, and right below you see the ending of that body tag. Anything between those tags are going to be visible in the browser. Anything above that body tag, like the head element there, that's the non-visual part of that document. All right, those things will be doing something else, and I will explain how they work later on. Now, when you grab all that text that you saw there and you put it inside this text file, you need to save it with a .html extension. And we can put any name we want on that file. So I can name it index.html just to make it a homepage, or I can name it edwin.html. All right, that would create a web file, and you can upload it to your web server and work with that. All right, now let's talk about CSS. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets, and it is used to control how a page looks. Very simple, it's just the styling of that document. All right, so how does it look like? Well, we first start a CSS rule by actually writing a selector. This is called a selector. In this case, we are selecting any HTML tag that has a P in it. All right, any P tag will be selected. We first write a curly bracket, opening curly bracket, then we close that curly bracket like this. Right curly bracket. Actually, we start with the left curly bracket and then with the right curly bracket at the bottom there. Now, you can put as many spaces as you want between those brackets. It really doesn't matter. Then, after that, we write the property that we want to, override. So we want to, let's say, change the color on those P tags. And we put a colon to separate the property with the value. And this is what's going to change everything. So we're changing that property of that P tag, which is the color, for a red. All right, color. So we grab that value, and we can change that value. We can put black in it. We can even use codes to write colors. So we end this command by typing in a semicolon. We are telling the browser we're done with it. Now you need to go down because we are done changing this property. All right, so it goes down to the next property, and if it doesn't find the next property, it will go down to that curly bracket that you see there, and it will keep going to the next selector. Uh, in the next case, could be a H1 tag right below this, right? A H1 tag selector, or maybe a body tag selector, right? It could be any of those. So now let me just give you an example, a little list here of some of the CSS properties that you might find out there. These are common ones. As you can see, there are, and in this case, there are very few there, but there are many of them. All right. So you can see visibility will change the visible aspect of that property. So we can make things invisible with a visibility property. We can change the position with a position property there. We can transform the text with that one there. We can change the text family, how the text looks. We can align things. We can change the color. I mean, we can do a lot of things to our elements in our document. All right. Now, how does it really work? Well, we put a we put this text, right, that you see there, right, because it is text in the beginning. We put this in a text file, and we put the selector with the properties and the values and all that, and then we save it with a .css extension, just like we did with a .html. All right, this is the difference here. When you change that extension, because before you save the file, you're gonna have a .txt extension, which is for text, right? So you change all that, and you take that extension off, and you save it as a .css. This is going to make a CSS file. In this case, we are going to be naming it style.css, but you can name it whatever you want. All right. Some people name it style sheets. All right. So some people name it styles. I just name it style.css because I just wanted to, and for me, it looks good. All right. So that's it. Now that text that you saw before the slides here is going to be like this in the browser. All right. We're gonna if you remember, we saw the p tag with the color of red, and we are changing the font weight. So we are making this font weight, and the font weight is just how thick the text looks. In this case, it's going to be thicker than a regular paragraph, right? And the color is going to be red. So this is how it's going to show in the browser when you save that file, and of course if you link it to your document. So anyways, I hope this gave you an idea how HTML and CSS works, right? So I hope I see you in the next lecture, and thank you so much for watching this, and sorry if it was a little long, but I wanted to get it over with and show you exactly what they are. So I see you in the next lecture, and let's go. Let's do it.